Hello everyone, good morning and namaste. I welcome you all to my classroom activities and in particular to this particular online faculty development program on effective strategies for academic assessment. Okay, once again I welcome you all to this online faculty development program on effective strategies for academic assessment during COVID crisis. So in particular, let me thank all the participants for coming to this particular online mode of FDP. And in this regard, I'm so happy to thank our management for giving this kind of opportunity and for the constant encouragement to execute these kind of activities. So let me welcome once again all the learned teachers to my session. And in this particular session, I am so happy to learn that within a very short span of 27 hours, more than 400 participants have registered for this particular program. But fortunately and unfortunately, and at the beginning, I just had it opened only for 200 participants, and it is beyond this particular thing, and for which I should really apologize. And of course, in due course, I will try to extend my services in the other aspects. And coming for these particular participants, and we have the participation from the different universities and the different institutions and from the various parts of the country, and includes different parts of specializations and of course different disciplines like science, arts, engineering, and all, and at different capacities like professors, associate professors, assistant professors, and the administrators like principals, for which I should really thank. And it is a kind of inculcation to note that the teachers are obviously the persons who are really intended to do something for the society, in particular for the academic fraternity, like students. And my warm welcome to my session. Yes, let me explain the objectives and outcomes of this particular program. If you're coming for these particular objectives, the first one is to describe the best online academic strategies for satisfactory engagement of learners. The second objective is to describe the teacher empowerment activities via online. And the third one is to describe the formatted quantity matrices for effective assessment of learners via online. And coming for the outcomes of this particular program, and all the participants soon after the completion of this program will be able to apply the best online academic practices to ensure the best satisfactory engagement of their learners, and having engagement in higher learning and innovative research, and to implement effective assessment and evaluation approaches. These are the objectives and outcomes of this particular program. Yes, now let me explain what is the motivation for me to organize this particular FDP. I mean to say, what are the reasons made me to host this particular program? And if you ask me like this, and if I'm not wrong, maybe from second week of March, of course it varies from one state to another state, and we have to come out of our institutions all of a sudden because of this particular global pandemic of COVID-19. And this made us to leave the institutions, and in fact we could not actually recognize this intensity of this particular thing, and we were expecting that soon we'll be reaching our institutions. But because of this pandemic situation, and as it was a kind of a transmissive exposure, and abruptly all the institutions were closed, and since then there was no activity like whatever the teacher activities like teaching, learning, and what you call this researching, innovation, all the activities have been shut. And because of this kind of lockdown, and of course we are passing through the third phase of lockdown, and we're not sure to what extent we need to face the same situation. And that is the reason we were all forced to work from our home. That means working from home, we are on executing our services like whatever we need to try to go for this kind of our academic activities. So that is the reason, and I wanted to start something what are the things we need to do at the moment. Okay, let us look at what is the impact of this particular crisis. If you look at this kind of COVID-19 crisis, all the industries, if you look at the industries, or if you look at this kind of agriculture sector and any kind of banking sector, the economy of all these particular sectors have been declined. And of course, the education sector is not an exception in this particular crisis, and I may rate that it may be one among the three sectors which got most impact in this particular crisis. So that is the reason, and we had to do something at this particular situation as far as our particular uh, academic works are concerned. So what is happening actually in this particular constraints, and we were made to work online, so we started this particular work, but here actually the problem started in some cases. Why in fact I am telling you, as far as this kind of online teaching mode is concerned, it is not any kind of a new one, but actually as far as our constraints are concerned, in particular, rural-based educational system is going on. This is confined only to this kind of value-added courses like certifications, projects, and so on, but not on conventional mode of education. So in this particular regard, if you look at, in particular, India, the entire institutional education institutions, they must have been classified into three ways, like first category, second category, and third category. If you look at this, I'm not mentioning any institutions or universities, these are just categories. If you look at this kind of first category of institutions, they are the institutions having what you call all kind of DC infrastructure, and they have very good expertise among themselves, so that there is no issue, because it is well established with respect to the infrastructure, well established with the training among the faculty and all the faculty, and of course the students were getting used, so that there will be no issue. And coming for the second category of institutions, moderately they started these kind of DG platforms, like having DG infrastructure and starting the online mode. But of course, these kind of practices are going on somehow only up to 40 to 50% extent, and I think they are passing through a wedge of action. But if you look at this kind of a third category, this is a very big problem, where there was no DC infrastructure established, there was no proper training for the teachers and all. Where this is the situation, almost 65% of the students are falling under this particular third category. And of course, the faculty and the institutions are struggling a lot, and they started their own efforts to cater the effective needs to these particular students in this particular third category. So here, what happening actually, they rushed immediately and they started establishing the DG infrastructure. And of course, so they are also getting their own training, and they started their work because there is no other go for them. So this is what in fact happening in India. But here, this is the actual problem where we are supposed to look at. Why in fact I am telling you all, though we are just passing through this kind of online mode of education, up to what extent we are doing, that is the very, very important thing we need to consider. Why in fact I am telling you, and here we are using so many ways online, in the sense everybody, because of some other aspects, we are almost having this kind of online mode kind of thing. But the actual specificity based education delivery system is very, very important. That is the reason we should concentrate more, like the quality based education and the quantification of our education processes. All these things we need to maintain. Why in fact I am telling you this, let us say for example, if you look at the students, even if you look at our students in the regular classwork, and there are in fact the many complaints, in particular of course the administrator must be looking at that many of the students are not attending the classes, and many of the students, though they are attending for the classes, they are not listening to us, or they are not following whatever you are supposed to do, all these things. The fundamental reason behind this particular thing is the students are multimodal learners. They are not confined, and being the teachers, we should accept an important fact that our students are disease savvy, and of course, we are not disease savvy because we belong to yesteryear generation, but they are in disease generation. So, in fact, we have to accept that they are good even when compared to our teachers as far as the technology maintenance is concerned. So multimodal learners in the sense, let us say for example, in some many ways, it is also called as work process, VARK model. That means the visual, auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic.
Thanks. Sorry. Thank
visual
you.
in the sense, let us say for example, if you look at some of the students, these are all the different attributes and attitudes of the students. They will be pleasing to our lectures only when if you are passing this information in any kind of graphical representation, like diagrammic and pictographic and symbolic representations. Then there will be students will be pleased so much in case we are giving this kind of thing. And the second category, auditory, they always wants to listen to some experts. They always want to know something. It is also, of course, one of the important techniques to attract the best communication. So they are auditory learners. And coming for this reading and writing, they always need some sort of what you call this kind of study materials. And they always request the faculty members, sir, provide the material, something like that. And the next one, kinesthetic, it is very, very sensitive. That means unless they practice, they don't accept the facts. This is what in fact we call the conceptual learning and the procedural based learning aspects. That means the practical based learning is very much attracted by some sort of learners. The candidates who are belonging to the innovation category, of course, they are falling under this kind of category. So like visual, auditory, reading, write, and kinesthetic. And these are all the most important aspects we need to consider as far as our online delivery is concerned. But one thing is, whether we are passing our online mode of teaching, we are able to consider all these important aspects, and whether we are able to consider whether all the four kinds of learners are being satisfied. So this is the very, very important and one of the important challenges in online mode of education. But here, what we are supposed to is, we should have our self-reflectance that whether our students are getting engaged because of our works or the delivery or not. So this is the reason we need to have what we call the best concept of important thing. We need to look at this particular thing. So what are the very important aspects we need to consider for this particular thing here? First one is, I request all the participants, please mute yourself, sir. Please mute yourself. Sir, please mute yourself. Okay, these are the important aspects we need to consider. What are the very important aspects we need to consider here is that, let us say for example, the preparation of content. What it means actually, preparation of content in the sense, right from the preparation of our lesson plans. Generally, we prepare our lecture plan and lesson plan before we are going for any kind of class. So this particular lesson plan is absolutely different when compared to the conventional mode. That means in the conventional mode, there is a kind of strategy. We prepare the lesson plan and the lecture plan, we go there, and at some convenience, we can change. But in the online mode, we cannot change because we need to have a kind of process of one to many, so that we are supposed to satisfy the four different kinds of learners, at least, like visual, auditory, what you call the writing, reading, and of course the kinesthetic. In this particular thing, a systematic lecture plan we need to prepare, and it should absolutely be followed. And whatever we are going to deal via this particular online mode, it should be informed to the students in advance. That is the very, very important aspect to consider. So once you prepare this particular lesson plan, accordingly the preparation of the content, content preparation is very much required. And here, and I'm so happy that even these faculty members, though they started late, they gone to some particular aspect that even now they are able to just deliver their lectures via Facebook live sessions and via YouTube live sessions and even via the telegraphic mode. So like that, many of the faculty members gone to such an extent because of this COVID-19 crisis. So here, if you look at any kind of online teaching mode, then we need to prepare the content, whether it is suiting well or not to our particular learners. That is one important aspect. So that is the preparation of content. Next one is delivery of content. Whatever we prepare, whether it is being delivered properly or not, and whether all the students are able to access the content or not. I'm an example here. Now I'm getting so many messages that we are waiting in room, waiting room, something like that. But since this particular course is going on, I am unable to just do something for them because the delivery is very important here. So that though we are having some sort of, like I'm getting an information, like message that 47 candidates are still waiting for me, but I cannot do anything now. So whatever the information we are preparing, whether it is being delivered, whether our students are able to access them or not, that is very, very important aspect. So access of the content and acceptance of the content is very, very, very important. That means what is the actual tool, online tool we are selecting for the best satisfaction of the students. Here, we are all in some sort of crossroads. Whatever we are doing, it's all only because of the benefit of the students or our learners, so that sometimes they may having some sort of what you call a kind of a frustration, or even they may not be able to come back to us because of their inability to just access this content. So that we need to consider. So we need to select a mode by which mode we can directly reach those particular learners so that they will be feeling happy. And next one is the student engagement. Student engagement is, let us say for example, I started my session at 11:30 and some of the participants, they may leave at 11:45 or they may be leaving at 11:50, or some participants, they may simply just put their mobiles aside and they may be going for cooking, something like that. So these are all a kind of things what will generally happen. These are all invisible aspects for a kind of instructor to look at these particular things. So effective engagement of the students is very, very important. That means whatever the delivery we are just giving to the students, it must be acceptable. For this particular thing, we should have prior analysis of the students, that which category of students do require this visible and which category of students are kinesthetic, which category of students are reading right, something like we need to have a kind of merge of all these kind of four important aspects while we are just giving this kind of delivery. You may be asking a question, sir, is it possible for us to go through this particular online board to satisfy all these kind of four and we need to have all these kind of things? Definitely it is possible. Thing is, we need to have the practice. Let us say, for example, if you're having a look here, and if you're having a kind of what you call your presentation here, nothing like that. So obviously, everything will be passing on so that we can execute, and the student engagement is there. And another important thing is here, while we are having this kind of student engagement, whatever this particular content or the concept we planning to deliver to the students, it should be designed in such a way that, and you can also include some sort of gamification approaches. If you can include some sort of gamification approaches and all, then it will be very important, and we can see that everyone, whatever we are going to have the students, we can definitely reach that particular student. So if you can, you have to assess first. We should identify the prior knowledge of the student to this particular content, not with respect to the module, what we generally do. And we should assess and we should plan this particular content, and whether we need to have any kind of teaching kind of thing, or we need to have any kind of what you call other kind of aspects like gamification model, like that we try to have student engagement. And then we need to go for assessment and evaluation. This is very, very important. If you look at this particular assessment and evaluation, generally there are a greater kind of aspects generally we follow in this particular conventional mode of thing. because there will be some sort of timetable, so there will be some sort of monitoring from the head of the department or any other coordinators, so that we will obviously do all these things. But here in online mode, it is not that much feasible to have. But thing is, here we should adapt an appropriate process to have both these summative and formative assessments, and we need to go for this kind of evaluation. So because this assessment and evaluation will boost up or motivate the fact student to a maximum extent, so that we can have the better engagement of the student. And then the customized feedback, this is very, very important. Why in fact I'm telling like customized feedback, we need to concentrate on each and every student. It is very, very important. And this is having more impact as far as our online teaching mode is concerned. How it is possible? You can get all the information like assessment and evaluation. I am hoping that many of the faculty members are using beautiful tools, like you may be using the Google Classroom, and you can using this particular Google Forms. You can go for the Canvas, module, Moodles, whatever the tools you are using. Assessment, after assessment, you should evaluate and you should give the customized feedback. Yes, you did well, very good, keep it up. No, it's not the way by which in fact you are supposed to represent. And you should change this attitude of representation in other kind of mode. Like that, if you can give the feedback, the students will be best motivated, and accordingly there will be best engagement and the best learning of this particular student. So these are all the very, very important aspects we need to consider as far as this particular online mode is concerned. Yes, next, another important aspect we should consider, being the teachers, it's not only to teach the students, and apart from that, we should also have what you call other important aspects, because teacher is the prime learner, and of course everyone knows with this kind of the graduate attributes, the 12th GA is nothing but the lifelong learning. So we should not forget this. And another thing is that if you learn more, then obviously you can deliver more. That is a very important aspect we should consider. And of course, this is a kind of important aspect to learn more how to best deliver this kind of online content. This is also one of the important aspects. We should not forego our learning. And before this kind of what you call our presentation, one of our friends was telling that, sir, at 12:30 I have a kind of another presentation. It's a kind of spirit to know more, to do more, to deliver more, these kind of things. And of course, I'm so happy that not only my faculty members and the faculty members from the different organizations are working well as far as this particular learning aspect is concerned. And most fortunate thing is that many of the associations and organizations actually started to deliver the content for the benefit of faculty members. And how we are learning in this particular thing. Next one, the research. This is another important aspect to consider. And you may have a doubt, how do we carry out this research while we are having locking down, we are not going to the college and all. And it's not at all an issue for this. Research is very, very important. Because why in fact we started online boarding? It's a kind of a partial research. That means what we call as active research. That means according to the situation, that is the concept of active research. So you can have a domain research and a multi-domainal research and the active research, whatever it may be. Though we are unable to have a kind of what you call this kind of laboratory access, we can go for simulations. That is one of the important aspects. Even if it is not possible for us, whatever we are planning to have or to execute this particular thing, you can put it on a paper, so we can generate the ideas, so we can consolidate the ideas, so it will make easy to carry out our research. And we can go for this kind of reviewing of our things, and you can go for the publications, something like that. Or else you can also try whether we can apt to go for any kind of patents and all. So like that, we should also equally concentrate on research. And the next one, innovation. And this is the need of the hour. And even research is also should be with innovation. And now we need to have innovative research. That is very, very important. And at the present situation, if you look at this particular thing, it is highly needed. Why in fact it is highly needed? Now the entire globe is looking for the best services or best products to pacify this kind of what you call COVID-19. This is an aspect where all the faculty members are request that you can concentrate more on this particular issue so that we can try to develop some sort of services or products. Or if you look at this kind of MHRD, if you look at the kind of ACT, whatever it is there, and they are encouraging the faculty members and students to do something, like anything, where in fact we are supposed to put our brains. And power to all, the documentation. This is very, very important. If you look at this kind of online strategies, and there is a possibility that we may not be able to have best documentation, though we work well. But I'm sure that in the coming days for any kind of accreditation processes like NBA, NAC, or any kind of international accreditations, and they will consider the aspect of effective documentary evidences for this kind of online mode of tuition. Because, and this is very, very important period, and whatever the institutions did well during this lockdown period, under the teaching community or the students who learned more during this lockdown period will be considered to a maximum extent. So that is why proper documentation of all these things is very, very important. So these are all, in fact, this kind of quality matrices, what I wanted to tell you. And then let us look at this kind of quantitative matrices. I proposed some sort of what you call the formatted designs, by means of which, in fact, we can tabulate. Here, the thing is that we should motivate the students and of course motivate the faculty. Both are very important, because there is a possibility that some of the faculty members may do so better when compared to the rest of the faculty members in some areas, or even in the students also, some students may do well. That is why, for the better motivation and inspiration to both the students and the faculty members, we should have some sort of what you call the quantitative assessment, and we should appreciate them with some sort of grading and all. So let us look at the proposed things in this particular quantitative matrices now. This is what, in fact, I just given a kind of report like lockdown period faculty work from home activity. It's a kind of first report. First report and our prime report is teaching, because I already told you, and many of the faculty members and the could not complete their syllabi. Though we completed our syllabi, the students are not in a position to write the examinations. If you leave the students as such, then obviously there is a possibility that students may not be able to write in a proper way. So because of this gap and all, that is why it is better for us to have a kind of report. So this is the first report, and we can have a header like our college name, and then this is the department, and this is what you call the faculty designations and all. And here, if you look at this kind of thing, and whenever we started the work, we need to prepare a timetable, and for each and every day of work we completed here, we should report here. That is very, very important, because let us say, for example, we have 5 sessions in a week. Suppose a faculty member taken only 3 sessions and one faculty member taken 5 sessions. What is the difference between these 2 faculty members? And similarly, suppose there are 50 students in a class. If 20 students are attending for some sessions and 50 students are attending for other session, what is the big difference between them? So we need to differentiate all these categories. So that is why, so you can have a tabulated kind of things, and in which date, in which section, what is the subject, and what are the module, and what are the topics we covered, and what are the online tools you use. This is very, very important, because I already told you VARK. So visual, audio, and kinesthetic, and reading and write. So what we submitted, whatever the modules you use, that means the engagement of the students, you can find out here. Let us say, for example, number of students present and total number of students, you can find a variation. Suppose you are using the visual mode, and if there is more number of students present, if there is audio, and if there are less number, it means to say that the students are attracted with more visual mode. Or if you are going for kinesthetic mode, suppose the students are in less number, it means to say that whatever we can have, that the students are unable to access because of the lack of facilities. Like that, it's a kind of systematization, and you can find out the students who did well like this. And of course, we can also find out the faculty members who got more number of the candidates presence here. And for each and every class, the faculty may be given a kind of 1 point. Accordingly, we can also have a kind of grading. This is for the teaching. And let me come for this. This is the second report, the learning. This is also very important, as already told. And students, not only the students, we are having our own other things. Students will simply listen to us, but being the teachers, we need to do more before and apart from doing something to the students. The first one is certified learning. Certified learning in the sense, let us say, for example, if you are having any kind of learning activity, whether it is an apt or not, so that means a certified learning is very, very important. Maybe of domain, maybe of pedagogy, or maybe of social service, whatever it may be, there should be the certified learning. So you can have the title of the certificate here, and you can have on which date you got, and what is the certification body, like whether it is given by Coursera, whether it is given by MHRD, whether it is given by Harvard University, whatever this. And this is very, very important, so that for each and every certificate, let us say, for example, if any FDP is there, if it is 1 day FDP, the faculty will be given 1 mark. And if it is 3 days, 3 marks, 1 week, 5 marks, so that the faculty will be given marking system, and according to the grading system, there is a kind of grading. It is a kind of motivation to the faculty members who are really doing. Because I'm continuously looking at the faculty members, not only from my own institution, there are so many faculty members, they are just learning a lot because that facility is given. Though the COVID-19 is pandemic for some aspects, it is giving more learning ability, more learning opportunities for the teachers as well as the students. Next one, the contributory research. And here, if you have any kind of the research kind of thing, and whether you have any kind of paper you published, whether you have prepared any paper, whether it is submitted in this particular any journal during this particular lockdown period. It was not prior to this lockdown period, during this lockdown period. But of course, I know, we all know that for publishing a paper in an article, in a journal and all, it takes some time. So, but in case, because of emergency, let us say, for example, you prepare some sort of services and products for any kind of COVID-19 pandemic, there are certain journals who immediately publish. So like that, you publish any journal, and what is the journal rating, or if you communicated any paper, or if that paper is accepted or published, like that you can have a contributory research column. So for a national level journal, you can give 3 points. For international, you can give 5 points. Like that, the faculty may be given the motivation. And the next one, inculcation of innovation. This is another important thing. Now a huge work is going on via this particular MHRD to promote the innovation activities among the educational institutions. So for this particular thing, we should select a kind of work, and what is the area of that work. In fact, that is innovation. I think you are knowing that this particular, how best it is novel when compared to the rest. That is very, very important. And for this kind of work to do, how many persons are involved? It may be the faculty members, or it may be even what we call our students, something like that. That is a service innovation or a product innovation, and who are the target beneficiaries, and how many beneficiaries are there. This is another important aspect to consider. This is all we call it as the learning mode kind of thing. This is another quantitative matrix, and this is the academic activity report for theory. It is coming under assessment and evaluation for the students' part of view. This is also very important. Let us say, for example, I am just delivering my lecture. I am least bothered about my assessment and evaluation of my students, and it will be a problem. So that is the thing. Whatever the classes we conducted, and to know and to give the effective feedback and the customized feedback to the students, we should assess them in a proper way, and we should evaluate. For this particular thing, both the students and faculty will be given a proper motivation. So here you can have different kind of things, because different universities, they will have different kinds of what you call modes of conduct of examinations, like assessment and evaluation. You can have unit-wise examinations, you can have model examinations, you can have assignments, and you can also conduct flash tests. It's all based on, there is no kind of what you call constraints for conducting of examinations or assessment and evaluation. The faculty has a right in what best mode they can assess their students and they can evaluate their students. This is very important aspect, because unless we assess the students, unless we evaluate the students, unless we give this particular effective and customized feedback, then obviously there will be no use whatever we do in this particular thing. So it can be given appropriate marking for the students and of course the faculty who really committed for these things. And coming for this one, the similarly, and this is for final year students, maybe of post graduation and undergraduation. This is very important aspect, that the project works. It gives the life. Many of the students, they are suffering a lot because of completion of this project works. Thing is, there are so many what you call work handling projects, so that they have to go somewhere else, they have to get some accessories, they have to design, develop. There was a problem because of this lockdown, or there may be some sort of simulation programs, whatever it may be. But whatever they do, actually, we need to evaluate all these kind of things. This is very important. It is we should give our, we should extend our cooperation to our students, or else they will become helpless. So for this, there should be the systematic strategy for evaluation of these projects. I have given here. I'm sorry. Yes. So let us say, for example, as a general template I have given here, and it's a kind of reviews, like 3 reviews I have given. But thing is here, it is up to the constraints of the university or the institution, how many reviews they can extend. Why in fact I am telling all these things is, date, marks, these are all everyone knows. But here you should consider this, the mode. What is the mode actually you are having? Record of proceedings. That is very important. And this project reviews, it gives and it counts a lot, because even many of the students will be getting more opportunities, employability opportunities also, in case they successfully participated in this kind of online mode of submission of the data. This is very important. And of course, in due course, I'm going to give what you call the student presentations. Maybe the next week I'm going to give. So because the, even if you look at the software industry, up to at least my expectation 3 to 4 years, and only 40% of the employees may be working inside, and the other people will be working from home, where the online submission of the data, online counseling, online convincing of the clients, they are going to play very important. So whatever the submissions of the project work we are having here, they should be absolutely looking for this kind of thing. So this is very important aspect to consider. That is why I'm asking here the mode of recording of proceedings, whether you are video, audio visual, or only audio. And again, we need to have recording of minutes. Proceedings are different from minutes. We need to record this particular minutes. And if you can online recording, if you have any kind of security ways, then obviously you can share among your groups. And here in this particular juncture, we need to have the collaborative activities, so that you can also share to the other departments. They can also learn and they can also suggest all kind of things. So this is a systematic procedure, how best we can go for the evaluation of projects and all. Yes, this is another important thing, like seminars. I think you may be feeling that, sorry, everything you are telling like seminars, projects and all. But here you please identify some innovation, what I'm planning to do here. Seminars in the sense, and you need to give some sort of aspect to the students to present a seminar. But actually seminars are absolutely different. The student should generate a kind of idea on one particular important aspect, and they should generate the seminar. Here, one of the important aspects I want to tell you is, students may act for online internships. This is very important aspect. Whatever the experience they gain through this kind of online internships, they should present a seminar. It counts a lot for their kind of value addition to that particular aspect. So we need to encourage the students in such a level that we should make the students to motivate to deviate from a regular monotony of seminar presentation, and we should try to identify the students, and we should promote the students to go for online internships, Let them gain the knowledge, let them generate the ideas, let them generate and let them submit the seminars via online. Of course, it may take some sort of time. Student may also have some sort of um, inconvenience, but it is more flexible and to get more knowledge information. But once you are able to do all these kind of things, this kind of quantity matrix, we will get more advantage. And the next one is practical examinations and viva voce reports. This is another important thing. If you look at this kind of online mode of teaching, everybody is concentrating more on delivering the lectures or any kind of assessments. Even Google is struggling like anything to host this kind of Google Classrooms and all, to cater the needs of Google Classrooms and all to all the faculty members in the entire world, in particular India, to conduct all the theoretical classes, assessment and all. But think here, what about this kind of practicals where the students should gain more knowledge even when compared to theory? Because whatever they're learning via theory, they will be practicing more in this kind of laboratories. So I think nowhere the people are concentrating here. Simply, if you can say that you can go for virtual labs. So I request all the faculty members and the administrators and my colleagues are also there here, so many, and to just encourage the students to register for virtual labs. Other laboratories are there, and NITTR, Chennai, NITTR, Kolkata, if you look at all these kind of things, there are so many laboratories designed under virtual mode. So many of the virtual laboratories are free mode, in fact, and they can register for that and they can get all these kind of thing also. So that I request the faculty members to encourage the students for virtual modes. Beyond that, and before that, all the faculty members should register for virtual modes so that the best practice and the importance in this particular virtual modes is that the procedural knowledge will be knowing more. So once we know the best procedural knowledge, then obviously the practice will become successful. So concept will be developed more. So like that, we can go for these virtual labs. Based on the performance in these virtual labs, the intimacy of the student towards this particular virtual lab, we can evaluate their practical experience. And accordingly, we can also conduct the viva voce examinations, and that also you can include. So this is how, in fact, we can also assess the students as far as this kind of practical exposure is concerned. And beyond this kind of thing, and there are certain smart students who can also participating in research, participating in certifications, almost on par with the faculty members participating in innovations. They should be also given whatever the slide I have shown to you for this kind of assessment of innovation and all, that can be extended to the students. And there may be around 10 to 15% of students. And if you look at any institution at max, and if you look at the tier 1 institutions, it may be around 40% of the students. They will be concentrating more on this kind of innovation activities and all. So if you can extend that facility, then the students will be flourishing more. And these are all the actual formats. Why, in fact, I'm telling you all this. So there should be the systemization in an institution. There should be systemization among the faculty members, among the departments for concrete depiction of the data. Because let us say, for example, maybe once it is lifted out, lockdown is lifted out, or prior to lockdown, there may be some sort of institutions must have applied for NBA, must have applied for NAC, any kind of certification courses. And soon after lifting of lockdown, they may be getting and notices from the NBA accreditation bodies that they will be visiting your institution soon. Then they will be asking that what you have committed for this lockdown period activities and all. So there should be some systematization, and whatever the thing here, these are all online mode. All these online mode, we need to have this captured screenshots and already recorded videos. Everything should be available to support all these kind of formats. So this is a quantitative matrix, and because of this quantitative matrix, the students will be given their own marking, and the faculty who are really working to encourage the students to promote in this kind of thing will also be given the marking, so that institution as a whole, in fact, can go for this kind of rating among the grading of the faculty members, so that all these activities will also uplift their APA score for all the faculty members, which would be so useful. So this is the quantitative matrix, and which was followed by our qualitative matrix. So coming for this, these are all what, in fact, I wanted to extend in this particular 1 hour time. And of course, the time is very short. That's the reason I'm going to conclude here. I think I have given enough information for you all. Thing is, before going to conclude, let me tell you that this COVID-19 somehow, though it is pandemic and making ourselves to sit in our houses, it given us many opportunities to learn, to serve, to do. And of course, there are so many challenges ahead because at least educational institutions, they are highly sensible, and there will be a huge possibility that the actual um, educational architecture may be changed in due course, like maintaining the physical distancing and the delivering of the lectures. And I strongly recommend my teachers to approach for blended mode of lecturing. And in the next FDP, I'm going to tell you the blended mode of approaching, because there is a possibility that, because if everybody is asking to go outside via mask, what is the fate of the teacher in the classroom? All the students will be simply sitting in the classroom with mask, but while teacher is just delivering the lecture in the class with the mask, what is the problem? So we all should get ready, and if there are innovative people, and we can try to have an inbuilt, what you call this amplifier mask we need to generate. It is a kind of an innovative product being developed for this teachers exclusion. And then, and it is going to made a compulsion to go for this kind of things. And it is estimated that as far as my short bit of knowledge is concerned, we may be asked to actually continue this kind of online mode of education for the next academic years also, because educational institutions are highly vulnerable. A massive gathering will be there, and what you call the sanitation, housekeeping, and hygienic maintenance of the educational institutions are going to play a vital role. So that is why, and we may not be given permission, though these kind of permissions are being accorded for other sectors. So for this particular thing, we should get confirmed to continue this particular thing and to implement innovative aspects. And another important thing is, as I already told you, all these kind of what you call this kind of quality assurance bodies and quality assurance bodies, they will consider all these aspects what we do in this particular thing, both the quality and quantitative matrices. And another important thing is accountability is more needed from all sides. Like what you call this accountability is more needed from all sides in the sense, and we are answerable to our all stakeholders like parents, students, our institutional what you call employers, and our higher authorities, and of course to our own family. That we should be concentrating more on these things. So these are all very, very important aspects I wanted to share you, because if you look at this kind of online FDP programs and all, so many aspects are going on, what you call these domain specific things, and the pedagogy and the challenges and the appropriate assessment things are not being considered in so way. That is why I decided myself to give, I take a kind of different approach of FDP to all my land colleagues, and it was so happy. Still, I am getting messages from waiting room, but I cannot do anything. So that is why it's restricted only for the candidates who participated here. And one more thing is that for about 5 minutes, we can also have any kind of queries. And another thing is that if you have any queries, you can submit to my mail ID. It is present here. And the feedback and e-assessment is being given maybe by tomorrow afternoon. I will place this e-feedback and e-assessment form in my social media Facebook link. It is placed here. And also, I try to send this particular feedback and e-assessment form to all the participants by means of which you got. And only the candidates who participated in this session and who qualified with at least 50% in this e-assessment, and they will be given the participation certificates with grading. And this is what, in fact, I wanted to tell you. And be safe and let others to safe, and having this kind of happy learning. And let us please feel and see that nothing is being done. Actually, if you look at this kind of thing, and COVID cannot stop our learning, and we can do all these kind of things like anything. So this is what, in fact, I wanted to tell you. Now, if something is wanted to discuss on any kind of things, you can start discussing. and you please maybe one query from each candidate. We have 10 minutes still left. So you please consider to, and you can ask any kind of queries you have. Please. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah, please.
So my name is Indira. I'm working with GIET Hyderabad.
Okay.
And sir, a very nice session, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
For
madam.
giving us such for giving us such valuable inputs.
Thank you.
In fact, I got this link from MSME, sir, where
Okay,
you are
okay,
there,
okay,
sir.
okay.
So actually, sir, online classes are not easy
Yeah,
because when it comes to student learning,
yeah,
I want to know from you,
yeah,
based on your experience,
yeah,
what do you think is an appropriate method
yeah.
for making online classes more interesting, sir? If you have some
So
inputs there.
that is what, in fact, I think maybe in the fourth slide it seems I shared one important thing, and I think I'm right. If you look at my sharing of the screen, I given this particular work model. It seems yes, multimodal learning. I think you are able to look at my screen. Hello.
Yes, sir. I'm able to see your screen,
Yeah.
sir. Please go
Here,
on, sir.
that is what, in fact, I wanted to tell you. First of all, we need to assess the students' inculcation. Students' inculcation, in the sense, it is one of the biggest problems in 21st century of teaching and learning. And let me ask a direct question to entire teaching faculty, including me. Some of the students may not be able to attend for my classes. Why should a student attend to my class? That is the question every faculty should ask himself. Let us say, for example, if you are giving any lecture, that lecture may be available somewhere else, so that they can get the same from the other axis also. That is the reason how innovatively we are presenting this particular lecture to that particular candidate is very important. So we need to have a kind of proper tool to assess the prior knowledge of the students, and whatever
Please
we are
mute
going
and
to do the
mute
lecture, we need to have what we call the connectivity. That's what we call dot filling. So let us say, for example, that particular candidate is at first position, and we are at fourth position. And yes, you please look at this particular slide here. This education, the students are at this level, and we are at this particular level, and we need to bridge a gap that the student should come to our level. I mean to say that once we know the prior interest and knowledge, and another important thing is that how best they are able to access, in what way, in case I deliver my lecture, they are accepting my lecture. If we can assess, that is a very important thing. And in online teaching mode, of course, as you are telling, it is not that much easy to attract the students to the best engagement. That is the reason you should be having a kind of different approach, as if you consider this kind of conventional mode. In conventional mode, there is a possibility that we can have direct eye contact with any of the students we are having, but here it's not possible. So that is why you should have a kind of inculcation to have a kind of list of the students with you, and now and then while you are pausing this kind of thing, maybe for about short mode, like a 10 minutes class and a 10 minutes discussion, 10 minutes class and 10 minutes discussion, we need to go like that. So during this kind of discussion, between this particular 10 minutes discussion, you can at least touch 4 to 5 students. If you can ask the student, hey Ram, what are you doing? How are you? And did you get my point? Something like that we can ask, and they will be having a kind of special impression that yes, my teacher has having a special interest on me, so that I should be more engaged myself. And another important thing is that if you can do like that, and they will have an attitude to try and to learn more on their own self, because self-learning is more important when compared to our one-to-way teaching. That is what a kind of activity-based learning. And another important thing, let me tell you is, and before my suggestion to entire teachers, and you let us have a kind of video recording of these lectures. Just give this particular video recording of these lectures, video recorded lectures to the students in advance. Then you have a session in our timetable. So before going to come to your particular class, the student should be asked to go through this particular video session, and these particular live sessions will be used only to interact with the students and to make the students to what you call explain the content in detail. And that is how, in fact, we can make the students a better, easy.
Thank you so much, sir. Just one request, sir.
Yeah,
The
please.
PPT that you have used for
Yeah.
explaining us, can
Yeah.
you post it in MSME group, sir? Or
Sure,
otherwise
sure.
any other mode?
Actually,
Yes, sir.
madam, one thing, let me tell you, I should apologize for this also. And actually, I wanted to give this particular FDP to only my faculty members, like my in the sense, our GIET institutions. And once one of the principals from West Godavari district, they requested me to join us. And again, I have a call from other thing. And fortunately or unfortunately, without my knowledge, it was extended to 400 plus candidates, and participants are even from RPIT body. I think you know the annual refresher programming in teaching, like Swayam body. They also register for this. But whatever
Great, sir.
happened, actually, just one day before, I could not separately send the link to them. That was made the problem. That is why, in fact, I am getting a lot of calls from waiting hall. And this particular PPT, and I tried to post in my YouTube channel. I have my YouTube channel also. I will post there, and of course, this PPT I will try to send to MSME also, because Chaudhary Garu, he was a very close associate with me. And
Sir.
GRIET, I have a very good relation with GRET. PS Raj Garu, your ex-director, and
Yes, sir. Yes,
was
sir.
known to me, and your administrative officer, KS Raj Guru, was a good friend of mine. And
Great, sir.
I have very good, and Gwakaraj, Ramaraj Garu is a very close associate me. And
Wonderful, sir.
I try to just share this particular
Please,
presentation to
sir.
MSME.
Please.
Definitely,
Please,
madam.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
It was really enriching, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you so
for
much.
all the
Namaste.
inputs.
Thank you so much. So, my colleagues, any more? We have 5 more minutes time here.
Sir,
Yeah,
good
please.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank
Chandrasekhar.
you so much. Please tell me, sir, how
Sir,
are you?
like MSME Agra, they
Okay,
are
okay.
organizing courses, sir.
Yeah,
So we have to organize like that.
definitely, definitely. Whatever you want to
We have to
do,
register it and we have to organize, sir.
definitely,
There
definitely.
number of courses they are organizing.
Okay,
So you
okay.
have that much of capability, you can organize, sir.
Definitely, sir, because it is up to you. I am at the service of the society. You can use my services to a maximum
No,
extent.
sir. Excellent, sir. You are the person in Andhra,
And
I
I
think.
request, my special request is you please try to just demand me. We try to work on this particular thing so that I will also try to work on that particular channel. Unless there is a
Yes.
problem, we cannot identify the solution. I am so happy that many of our faculty members, as in the case of other institutions, are really doing so much work in this particular COVID-19, no doubt at all.
Yes.
But systematization is very, very important, and for which, in fact, afterwards, we should not feel any kind of worry. That is why I wanted to systemize what best we can do like this. This is how, in fact, thing. And another important aspect, that the same kind of presentation I am going to give to the parents. So because the parents are very much worried about their progress of their words, in particular final year student parents. So that is why I wanted to, I will just give a link. I will post to you. You can just hand out your parents and let them to register. And so that we can also have a discussion with the parents. It is this thing. And regarding this employability development skills, sustainable future and all, I'm going to deliver a lecture for exclusive students. Maybe in the next week I will plan, because my schedules are so tight. That means because I am running one important COVID-19 course, still one more session is left with us. That I need to consider. And again, I will concentrate on, I need to concentrate on more other important things. And the whatever the madam asked, that must be in the minds of other faculty members also. If you can give some inputs, then I will try to work on those particular points also, so that we try to develop some better content. And another important thing is that student friendly web content designing is very, very important. And let us say, for example, once a particular student open his particular smartphone, he spends a lot of time on Facebook and all. Then let us say, in the similar way, why can't we design a kind of a platform like Facebook to our own organization, so that the entire
Yes,
thing
sir.
will be like the specified domain and all, and everything we can face. And that also I am working on that.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir. Thank you, sir.
thank you so much. Any
Excellent.
more things?
post.
Hello.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
It's a wonderful session.
Thank
You
you
have
so much.
streamlined the online teaching.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you,
if
sir.
there are any queries from my friends or colleagues from the other institutions also, and I try to think, or else we will end the session within 5 minutes. Then you can have your own lunch and you can go for other works.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yeah, please, sir.
Hello. Sir,
Yeah,
this
please.
is Gujjar Nagamaleshwar Rao.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Eastwar College of Engineering, Narsarapeta, sir.
Very good, sir. Thank you so much for
Sir,
listening to you, sir.
yes. Yeah, sir. That's a very, very wonderful session, sir. Just I would like to know whether there are certain any comfortable tools to teach engineering drawing, such drawing subjects, sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, if you look at this kind of drawing and all, my best is GIMFIP, something like that, softwares are available, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And if you look at it, is a free available software, sir.
Okay.
If you can search in that, and if you can download the software, you can have a kind of instruction manual also there.
Okay.
And you can design your drawings, and you can apply this, sir. And another important thing, let me tell you, there is one free downloading the software is also available, as in the kinds of our Google, that is Printmos is there. There, whatever print was, any kind of drawings are available in that particular thing. You can draw it, you can download it, you can share. But my suggestion is that if you can go for the Zoom and all, and there is a facility of whiteboards, sir. In Zoom, there is a facility of whiteboard. Why, in fact, I am preferring this particular Zoom. I am very much happy with this particular Zoom because the clarity of audio and it's are good when compared to the rest of the platforms. So there is a whiteboard facility. In that whiteboard also you can draw these diagrams, and the same screen the students will be able to share. So it will be more advantageous, and one-to-one you can have this, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because I know the I know this particular problem with engineering drawing faculty members, but the thing is, at the same time, you can also have step-to-step modulation of drawings. You can get these particular things in YouTube, sir. Whatever, if you look at
we are having many videos, sir. But one thing is that student is not able to follow the lecture.
That is the reason. That is the road. You go for the GIMP, sir. GIMP, you can get that. It is a free tool. You can tool. You can use it. You can draw any kind of pictures, not only engineering drawing. Any projects you can design, sir. Any project models you can design is a wonderful tool, sir. Yes, and then if you can go for another kind of thing like Quizlet.
Okay.
You can go for this Quizlet. You can very quick ask the students for any kind of queries and all.
Okay, sir.
And these are all very important tools. And of course, they're all free now. And perhaps in due course, maybe because of this particular crisis and all, and they also just ask us to pay. Even Google may also insist us to pay something because now it has become inevitable to work on all this because of heavy load and all. Maybe maybe in the near future, Facebook will also ask us to subscribe with payment. And these are all. Let me tell you, these are all the challenges we are supposed to face, and everything we need to pay and use because of this kind of global EQ monitoring systems.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you
very
much,
any queries you can also post to my mail, and I will respond to you maybe within 24 hours. No problem, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. I will be in touch with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, very kind of you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So I hope we had a wonderful session, and I will give you my feedback and assessment form in our my Facebook account. And of course, I can also share via our WhatsApp groups. You feel that you need to attend for this examination, you need to attend for this assessment, and the 50% is minimum to get this particular certificate because you are teachers, and you should be the best assessors, and we should be having more inculcation to get the certifications. And 50 to 60% and more than 50%, everybody will be given the certificate. And maybe within 1 week, I will serve all the certificates via mail. So I hope you enjoyed my session. And thanks for participation from different institutions and from different states, in particular to my colleagues who really helped me a lot with their great motivation and encouragement and their support to give this kind of seminars. But thing is, because of this COVID-19, and I'm alone to execute all these things. And if there's any technical problem and the faculty members or any participants who could not log in time, I already given instructions that the faculty members who are unable to log in by 11:30, they will not be given permission by the app. And I really apologize for the candidates who could not access my link. And I try my best to keep this in my YouTube channel. You can access, and let us try to do more. And let us be safe, and let others to be safe, and happy learning. Thank you all. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm ending the session now, please.
Thank you, sir.
Right, right.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, feedback form.
I will send you. It will be placed in my Facebook account by tomorrow morning, sir. Maybe by tomorrow 12 o'clock, I will send you.
Please send your FB ID in our chat box, sir.
Okay, sure.
we
Sir,
don't
thank you.
Facebook account.
Okay. So you can quote it, sir. Sivangi Suryanarayan Raj is sufficient. Still 81 members are there here.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, sir.
Okay,